Okay. Greetings, 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 brothers and sisters. Thank you again for another beautiful Sabbath day. Happy Sabbath to all the Sabbath keepers. Let's share the screen. Okay, we coming to you again today with another Black History lesson. This is part 2. Last week we did genealogy, and this week we're doing color. What color are the people according to the Bible, the people of the Bible, the sacred people of the Bible, which is are the Jews or the Israelites? Today we come in with color. But as usual, we're going to open up with the law. How y'all going to do this? We didn't even think.
I'm going to open up and Damani could take over and we're going to switch. I don't know how many verses though.
All right. Sister Shanika, if you turn your thing sideways, the picture will gonna come out right. There you go. You can see the name and stuff too.
But why you gotta be sideways too? How I gonna get you to turn normal?
I sideways?
I can't get you to turn. Yeah, you and Damani.
How you seeing it, Damani? You sideways, Damani? You see us sideways?
No, mine good, mine good.
I mean, how that go?
Don't worry about it.
So
don't worry about it.
The thing on the screen, you see the words on the screen, is it sideways also? The words on the screen.
For me, all of mine is, as long as you seeing it normal, I guess it's okay.
Okay, well, turn it back.
In my thing, I'm looking like I'm disappearing. Do I look like I'm disappearing to you?
Yeah, you look like you're sideways now. You look sideways now. Now you look like you're right. Okay, now you look like you're right side up. But if you're up, your right side up. Yeah. But if you can't see the words on the screen, because remember we have to read from the screen too. So if you can't see the words on the screen, put it back the way that you can see it. You know what I mean?
I would just have to zoom inside. Let me try and figure it out. Yeah, just.
All right. Well, you have to do the money.
I'm not sure. I ain't sure.
Hold on there.
Oh, okay. Drag your phone down so you to see the notifications, and you should have something that say auto rotate. And you click on auto rotate.
You can hear him, Sister Shani?
Yeah. I try and do that. So.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, the money. He's the man.
Thank you very much.
All right, Malcolm.
He's the man.
Mr. X. Mr. X. Thank you, Mr. X. All right. We open in as usual in the book of Exodus chapter 20. We're going to read the laws, and then we're going to come back. You go ahead, Sister Shanique. It's on you. And you don't have to necessarily wait for me to tell you. Go ahead. You take it.
Oh, okay. Exodus 21-17. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Revelation 22, verses 14 and 15. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter into the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
All right, brothers and sisters, we have read the commandments. These commandments are for us to keep. They are not done away with, despite of what we have been told. Don't let your preacher, your pastor, your leader, your bishop, or whoever your spiritual leader is tell you that these laws are no more in us to keep. Anyone that is doing so is trying to rob you of your salvation, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, we always say, don't let no one steal your crown. With that being said, happy Sabbath again to all the Sabbath keepers. And we are Israel, the Lord's vineyard. We teach the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, Jesus Christ being the chief cornerstone. We teach by subject and title. And for this month, we are doing Black history. Last week, we did genealogy. This week, we are doing color, the color of the people of the book, God's chosen people. What color they were, the ancient Israelites. And next week, we are going to do the curse. So we're going to start out this lesson in the book. Actually, we are going to read something. Read on the screen. We're going to read the children of Ham. We did this last week, and we're going to get the progenitor of Ham, one of Noah's sons. We know that on this side of the flood, Noah had 3 sons, and they survived the flood. And from these 3 boys, these 3 sons, the whole earth was populated. So this is one of Noah's sons. Last week we read that Japheth, these are where the Europeans come from, the European people. And we read that out of Shem, that's actually when Abraham came from. And from Abraham, we get Isaac. From Isaac, we get Jacob. And from Jacob, we get the 12 tribes of Israel. And we see that out of Japheth, that's where the people who are calling themselves the Jewish people, they are the descendants of Japheth. the Ashkenazi Jews, or the Khazars, or the Sephardic Jews. These people did not come out of the Abraham side of the family. They came out of Japheth. So they could not, with that being said, they could not be the people, the original people of the land, for that purposes, with that reason. So we're going to read on the screen, Ham, the descendants of Noah, one of Noah's sons. You can go ahead, sis.
She said, take over.
I'm
going to take over.
Okay, go ahead.
The youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. His indecency when his father lay drunk and brought a curse upon Canaan.
So, brothers and sisters, we see from Ham, that's where the dark race came from. These are known as the African nations, right? We see that from Ham, we get Cush. These are the Ethiopians. They call them the Cushi or the Cushites. We have the Egyptian, which from one of the son Mizraim. And we have the Libyans, which was Put. And we have the Canaanites. The Canaanites, brothers and sisters, were the original inhabitants of the land, Jerusalem, which is present-day Israel, right? And we know, according to the scriptures, that God chased the Canaanites and the 7 nations out of Jerusalem and gave that land to Abraham and his seed, right? Abraham and his descendants. So the land belongs to Abraham because God gave it to Abraham and his descendants, which is now for the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So the people who are in the land today are not the original people of the land, right? The original people of the land were taken out of that land and went into captivity. And brothers and sisters, they're still into captivity up to this day. We're still in captivity because we are not in our home. We are brought to the 4 corners of the earth by way of slavery. So we was taken from our home and dispersed throughout the 4 corners of the earth. We were promised that we're going to return when our Messiah, our King, returns. So until our King returns, we have no business in that land. All right? So the people in the land right now, they are not the people of the land. So we're going to start out this lesson in the book of Genesis, Genesis 42, and we're going to read verse 3 to verse 8. And remember, brothers and sisters, today we are doing color, right? Genesis chapter 42, and we're going to read from verse 3 to verse 8. (42, 3 to 8). And when you get it, my brother, it's on you.
All right, you want to switch every 6th chapter? I do 6, and she do 6.
Yeah, it's up to y'all, whatever y'all decide.
We should shorten it up. Every 3 we switch.
All right. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Genesis 42, 3 to 8. And Joseph, 10 brethren, went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth.
No, this is Joseph. No, brothers and sisters, we are wondering, why is Joseph in Egypt. Well, Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, right? His brothers sold him to a Midianite, which is an Ishmaelite, which is the Arab nation. And the Ishmaelite took him down into Egypt and sold him to a man named Potiphar. Potiphar was one of the captains over the guards of Pharaoh in Egypt, and that's how Joseph got into Egypt. While Joseph was in Egypt, Joseph did Pharaoh good service by interpreting his dream. Pharaoh put him second in command under him, right? So Joseph was well favored in Egypt. So now a famine came over the land, the whole land, and Joseph's brothers came down to Egypt to buy grain. And when they came, guess who they came before? They came before the same brother that they sold when he was 12 years old. They came and to buy corn. There was before Joseph, and they didn't know that they was talking to the brother Joseph. Brothers and sisters, why is that? Well, we know that the Egyptians, take a look at the screen, the Egyptians were melanated people. They were black people. Remember, Mizraim is the progenitor of Egypt. Mizraim is one of Ham's sons. They are black people. The Semitic people, or the Shemitic people, they also are black people, the descendants of Abraham. Why didn't the brother recognize Joseph? Because, brothers and sisters, he grew up in Egypt from 12 years old. They are the same color people. So now if he dressed like them, cut his hair like them, he can easily be mistaken for one of them because we're the same color people, brothers and sisters. They are black people, all right? So his brothers, them did not recognize who he was. Go ahead.
And Joseph saw his brethren. Where am I? 7?
7.
Yeah, and Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him.
Mm-hmm. So Joseph knew them, but they did not recognize him because he looked like the other Egyptians. They were the same color people. Figured if Joseph was white, you think Joseph, his brothers then would have recognized him right away because he could not have blended in with the Egyptian people, right? Let's forward it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 49. Genesis 49, we're going to read 1 to 2 and 28 to 33. Genesis 49.
Genesis, and Jacob called,
Go ahead.
And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So by this time, years after Joseph actually brought his family into Egypt, and there they dwelt with Joseph in the land of Goshen. Joseph gave them the land of Goshen, and they grew in numbers and populated the land of Goshen. So this is Jacob at this time, Joseph's father, which is named Israel. And Jacob now is in his old days, so now he gathered his sons around to tell them what will befall them in the latter time. And this is Jacob just before he died, all right? Because we're moving forward. Go ahead.
Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. 28. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is it that their father spake unto them, and blessed them, every one according to his blessing, and he blessed them.
So this is when Jacob told them what will befall them, and he gave them his blessings. So this is the continuation of it. After he gave them his blessing, this is what happened. Go ahead.
And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for possession of a burying place.
So Abraham bought a lot for him to be buried. So he's telling his sons, don't leave me here in Egypt. Take me there and bury me in, because I bought this lot for my resting place. Right? Go ahead.
There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife. And there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people.
That means, brothers and sisters, he died. So we're going to see what took place after Jacob died. Let's go into Genesis chapter 15. We're going to read 1 to 11. Genesis chapter 50, and we're going to read 1 to 11.
And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. And the physicians embalmed Israel.
So that's where we get embalming from, brothers and sisters. They still use that same regimen today. When people die, they embalm them. This practice came out of Egypt. All right, it came out of Egypt. Go ahead.
And 40 days were fulfilled for him. For so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days.
Go ahead.
And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die. In my grave, which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan, there shalt thou bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again.
So this is Joseph telling Pharaoh, let me go to bury my father in Canaan, and we will come back to Egypt. Right? Go ahead.
And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury thy father, according as he made thee swear.
Go ahead.
And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt. And all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house, only their little ones, and their flocks, and their herds, they left in the land of Goshen.
So Joseph and all his family went up, just the baby, the kids, and the flock they left back in Egypt. But they all went to bury their father. Remember, brothers and sisters, they grew in numbers in Egypt. Go ahead.
And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days.
They mourned for their father 7 days. Go ahead.
And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians.
Hold on. This is a grievous mourning to the who?
Egyptians.
Why they saying to the Egyptians?
Because they thought they were Egyptians.
Because they thought that they were Egyptians, brothers and sisters. The Canaanites said this is a grievous mourning for the Egyptians. Brothers and sisters, if the Israelites were white people, void of melanin, wow, I didn't turn off this. Hold on. Let me put this on mute. So sorry. Value so. Come on. All right. If the Israelites were white people, you think the Canaanites would have said this is a grievous mourning for the Egyptians? They would not have. They knew that the Egyptians are melanated people. They are black people. Look at the screen. These are the Egyptians. And we know that Mizraim, one of Ham's sons, we know that they are black people, brothers and sisters. So that's why the Israelites can easily be mistaken for Egyptians. And we're going to continue to show you this. It would be very easy to mistaken the Israelites for Egyptians because they're the same color people. So the Canaanites saw them and they said, man, this is a grievous mourning for the Egyptians. Go ahead.
Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan.
Right. So now we see here that the Israelite was mistaken for Egyptian, and we're going to continue to see this throughout the scriptures, brothers and sisters. Throughout this lesson, we're going to continue to see it. Right? Let's move on. Let's go to Exodus chapter 2. We're going to read 1 to 9 and 16 to 19. We're going to see this throughout the lesson. Exodus chapter 2. We're going to read 1 to 9 and 16 to 19.
Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 to 9 and 16 to 19. And there went a man of the house of Levi and took to wife the daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it.
So this is Pharaoh, this is
When
Moses.
she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold.
You can hear me, Shini? Yeah. This is Moses, sorry. This is Moses when Moses was born. So now, Pharaoh, the new Pharaoh that came up in Egypt, were not familiar with the Israelites, and they put out a decree to kill all the male child, right? So when Moses was born, his mother hid him. And when they could not hide him anymore, she made a little ark, like a boat, out of bulrushes, and she put him in the Nile and sent him down the river. And here we go. Pharaoh's daughter found the child, right? Pharaoh's daughter found the child, and we're going to see what happened. So Moses was found by Pharaoh's daughter. Go ahead. Remember, the Israelite boy children was ordered to be killed, but we're going to see if Moses was killed. Go ahead.
And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children.
So she knew that this was Moses was one of the Hebrew children, right? Go ahead.
Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother.
So this is Miriam. Miriam is Moses' sister. And Miriam was following while the basket was going down the river. She was at the brink side of the riverside and watching the basket as it going on. And she saw when Pharaoh's daughter's maid took the basket out of the water. So she went to her and said, you want me to go and find a servant to raise the child for you? But all the time they didn't know that Miriam was Moses' sister. And Miriam was referring to her own mother. So Moses was nursed by his own mother, right? Go ahead.
And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. Verse 16. Now the priest of Midian and 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away.
So now at this time, Moses grew. We are skipping some scriptures, brothers and sisters, for the sake of time, right? At this time, Moses grew, and Moses actually killed an Egyptian, so he had to flee out of Egypt. So he went down into Midian, and we're going to show you what happened down in Midian. Moses now is a grown man, right? Go ahead. So now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and fill the trough of water for their father's flock. And we're going to see what happened when they encountered Moses. Go ahead.
And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock.
Uh-huh.
And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today?
So the father said, how are you come back so soon? Because he know that they always go to water his flock. They never come back that soon. So he asked them, how will you come back so quick? Listen what they say. Go ahead.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock.
So Moses now was mistaken for an Egyptian. Brothers and sisters, you see the sequence that is going on? Now Moses is mistaken for an Egyptian. So Reuel's daughters said, an Egyptian man helped us and watered our flocks for us. Who are they referring to? They're referring to Moses. And why are they saying that Moses is an Egyptian? Because, brothers and sisters, we and the Egyptians are the same. The ancient Egyptians are the same color people. We are the same color people. They are melanated people. That's why we are easily mistaken to be Egyptians, right? Let's carry on. Let us go to Exodus 4. Now we're going to Moses. And we're going to read from the Amplified Version. Exodus 4. Okay. So Exodus chapter 4, and we're going to read verse 1 to verse 7. And we're going to read from the screen, brothers and sisters. Pay attention to the screen. Go ahead, my sis. It's on you when you're ready. Hold on, let me see if I could enlarge it a little.
I'm okay. I could zoom in. I zoomed in on it.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Then Moses answered the Lord and said, what if they will not believe me or take seriously what I say? For they may say, the Lord has not appeared to you.
So this is, at this time, Moses now had an encounter. He had an encounter with the bush burning. This is the burning bush, the events of the burning bush. And Moses went towards the bush and someone was talking to him from out of the bush. So this is the encounter, right? Go ahead.
Where did it go?
It's still there.
Oh, no, I got it. I'm on verse 2, right? And the Lord said to him, what is it? What is that in your
hands?
In your hand.
You can see it good?
No, my phone messing up. Okay.
Okay.
And he said a staff. Then he said, throw it on the ground. So Moses threw it on the ground and it became a living serpent. Like the royal symbol on the crown of Pharaoh. Moses ran from it. But the Lord said to Moses, reach out your hand and grasp it by the tail. So he reached out his hand and caught it and became a staff in his hand. You shall do this, said the Lord, so that the elders may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has most certainly appeared to you.
The God of who? The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob. It has nothing to do with Ishmael. It has nothing to do with Japheth, brothers and sisters. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Again, brothers and sisters, it has nothing to do with Ishmael and it has nothing to do with Japheth. All right, go ahead.
The Lord also said to him, put your hands into your robe where it covers your chest. So he put his hand into his robe, and when he took it out, his hand was leprous, as white as snow.
His hand was leprous, as white as snow. Go ahead.
Then God said, put your hand into your robe again. So he put his hand back into his robe. And when he took it out, it was restored and was like the rest of his body.
So his hand, when he put it back into his robe and he took it out, it became just like the rest of his body. Brothers and sisters, what color was the rest of Moses' body?
It was black.
It was black, brothers and sisters. Look at the screen. This is the burning bush. This is a scenery. Moses was black. His hand became leper. When he put it back into his bosom and he took it out again, it became just like the rest of his body. His hand turned back black, brothers and sisters. Leper is white in color. Leper is when you lose your melanin in your skin, brothers and sisters. So it would turn your hand pink like European people. That's what leper is. So when Moses put his hand back in his bosom and he took it out again, his hand came back melanated like the rest of his body. Remember, brothers and sisters, Moses was mistaken for an Egyptian. The Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, are melanated people, brothers and sisters. They are black people. They are not European. They are not white. They are black. All right? Let's carry on. Let's go to the book of Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 11.
Wait, I think you skipped one. Didn't you? Oh, no, we just read that. Okay.
Hebrews chapter 11, and we're going to read 23 to 25. When you get it, you can go ahead.
The money, ain't it you?
No, you have one more.
Hebrews 11 and 23 to 25.
By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the sons of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Esteeming, that's it.
That's it. So Moses, we knew that Moses grew up in Egypt. He was rescued by Pharaoh's daughter. And we know, brothers and sisters, if he was Pharaoh's daughter's son, as supposed, we knew that Pharaoh had him on his lap as his grandson. So Moses would probably sit on Pharaoh's lap many times. But remember, Pharaoh had ordered the killing of the Hebrew boy children. Why didn't he kill Moses? Moses was raised as his daughter's son. So that's Pharaoh's grandson. All right? Let us go on to Judges. We're going to go to Judges. We're going to go to Samson. Judges chapter 16. We're going to go to Samson. Let's see what color Samson was. Take a look at the screen, brothers and sisters. Look at the screen. So Judges chapter 16, we're going to read 13 and 14. When you're ready, you can go ahead.
And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with a pin, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam, and with the web.
So, brothers and sisters, we know that Samson had dreadlocks. Who are the people that is synonymous with dreadlocks, brothers and sisters? Is it the people who are calling themselves the Jews? They got straight hair. Brothers and sisters, we are the one with woolly hair or wool hair, brothers and sisters. Dreadlocks is synonymous with the Negroid people. This is Samson. We know Samson was a Nazarite. We know Samson was a melanated man. Samson was a melanated man. He was a Nazarite, brothers and sisters, from one of the tribe of Israel. Right? Let's carry on. Let's go and run down Jesus. We want to read in the NIV. We want to read in the NIV. Hold on. Revelation chapter 1. All right. Revelation chapter 1, we're going to read verse 9 to 19. So, let me see, because we could start from, let me see, look. Read from 1 to 19, can you, please?
All right. The revelation from Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants what must soon take place. He made it known by sending his angels to his servant John, who testifies to everything.
So God, this is the order, brothers and sisters. God give it to his son give it to the angels bring it to man, right? Go ahead.
Who testifies to everything he saw, that is the word of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ.
Go ahead.
Blessed is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear it and take to heart what is written in it, because the time is near. John, to the 7 churches in the province of Asia, grace and peace to you from him who is and who was and who is to come, and from the 7 spirits before his throne, and from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness, the firstborn from the dead, and the ruler of the kings of the earth. To him who loves us and has freed us from our sins by his blood, and has made us to be a kingdom and priests to serve his God and Father. To him be glory and power forever and ever. Amen.
Go ahead.
Look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all people on earth will mourn because of him. So
and the show will, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
So shall it be. Amen. I am the Alpha and the Omega, says the Lord God, who is and who was and who is to come, the Almighty.
So God, Jesus is referred to as who? The Almighty. Jesus is the Almighty, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
I, John, your brother, a companion in the suffering and kingdom and patient endurance that are ours in Jesus, was on the island of Patmos because of the word of God and the testimony of Jesus. On the Lord's day, I was in the spirit, and I heard behind me a loud voice like a trumpet, which said, write on a scroll what you see and send it to the 7 churches, to Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea.
And this thing, brothers and sisters, I was in the spirit on the Lord's day. I hear a lot of people with say little quotes like, this is the day that the Lord have made. But that day, brothers and sisters, is talking about the Sabbath. The Lord's day is the Sabbath, no other day. So when you hear that this is the day that the Lord have made, let us all rejoice and be glad in it. is talking, it was referring to the Sabbath. It is referring to the Sabbath, right? Go ahead.
I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And among the lampstands was someone like a son of man, dressed in a robe, reaching down to his feet, and with a golden sash around his chest.
Go ahead.
The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire.
His hair on his head was white like wool. He had woolly hair, just like what we saw Moses earlier. Woolly hair, just like what we saw Samson. Woolly hair. We are woolly haired people, right? His hair was white as wool. Go ahead.
As white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace.
His feet was like bronze glowing in a furnace, brothers and sisters. What color is bronze, brothers and sisters? Go ahead.
And his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand, he held 7 stars, and coming out of his mouth was a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead. He placed his right hand on me and said, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. I am the living one. I was dead, and now look, I am alive forever and ever, and I hold the keys of death and Hades."
So, brothers and sisters, this is a description of Jesus, brothers and sisters. So, verse 15, it says, "And his feet was like unto fine brass, as they were burned in a furnace." When you read the KJV, brothers and sisters, when you burn something in a furnace, what color is it? It cannot be white, brothers and sisters. It's impossible. Jesus is a melanated man. Not only that, he came out of the tribe of Judah. And the 12 tribes of Israel were melanated people that came from Jacob, brothers and sisters. They are melanated people. They are black people. Let's carry on.
Right therefore, what you have seen, what is now, and what will take place later.
So you tell him, write what you see, that it may take place later. So that's why it was put in this book, so we can see it, brothers and sisters, so we can read it and we will know, so we wouldn't have no doubt, brothers and sisters. Let us go to Revelation 2. That was it? No? Yeah? Yeah. Revelation 2, and we can read 17 and 18. Revelation 2, 17 and 18.
Back to the King James.
Yeah. Oh, actually, you can read, let me see. You can read from here. (17 and 18). Right. See it?
Yeah, I get it.
That's the NIV. Go ahead.
Whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To the one who is victorious, I will give some of the hidden manna. I will also give that person a white stone with a new name written on it, known only to the one who receives it. To the angel of the church in Thyatira, write, these are the words of the Son of God. His eyes are like blazing fire, and his feet like burnished bronze.
So you hear that again, brothers and sisters? And his feet was like burnished bronze. So if his foot was That color, brothers and sisters, what color is his face? What color is the rest of his body? It is the same color, burnished bronze, brothers and sisters. The 12 tribes of Israel were melanated people, brothers and sisters. It is written right here in the same book that we all read. Let's go to Songs of Solomon. Let's go to Songs of Solomon. Songs of Solomon, chapter 1. And we're going to read verse 4 to verse 6. Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, we're going to read verse 4 to verse 6. When you get it, it's on you.
Draw me, we will run after thee. The king had brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee.
Mm-hmm.
I am black, but comely. O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
So,
look not upon me.
Go ahead.
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun had looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept.
So, brothers and sisters, we're going to show you that this is referring to Jesus and not Solomon. I hear a lot of people say, this is Solomon. This is not, this Solomon wrote it, but it is not talking or referring to Solomon. This is referring to Jesus. As a matter of fact, in the back of the book, read, you know, in the back of the book, it gives you a synopsis of all the books in the Bible, right? This is Songs of Solomon on the screen. Read that, sis, for me.
The Psalms and the Canticles. Authorship is
You're breaking up. Hold on there. You're breaking up big time. Oh, no.
This book is known also. Still breaking up?
Go ahead. Sound better now.
This book is known also as the Song of Songs and the Canticles.
Mm-hmm.
Authorship is ascribed to Solomon. The story is of a deep, pure love between a man and a woman. Solomon writes of the beauty and sacredness of such devotion. The story symbolizes the great love of God for his people.
So this is referring to Jesus, brothers and sisters. The woman is Israel, and the man is Jesus, brothers and sisters. The woman is Israel, and the man is Jesus. This is not talking about Solomon, and we are going to see that. So verse 5 says, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tent of Kedar, and as the curtains of Solomon. So if this was Solomon, why are you saying as the curtain of Solomon? He will say as my curtains. If this was talking about him, it's not talking about him, brothers and sisters. It is referring to Jesus and his wife, Israel. Okay? It says, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tent of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. He said, don't look upon me because I am black, because the sun has looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. We are going to see who is this talking or referring to about his mother's children was angry with him. They made me the keepers of the vineyard. Who is the vineyard? But my own vineyards have I not kept. The vineyards, plural, is the other nations, brothers and sisters. The vineyard that was not kept is Israel, his people. That is his vineyard, brothers and sisters. Let us go to the book of Psalms, book of Psalms. Psalm 69, and we're going to read 6 to 9. The vineyards, plural, is the other nation. The vineyard is Israel, right? It's about my own vineyard have I not kept, right? Let's go to Psalm 69, and we're going to read verse 6 to verse 9. Psalm 69, we're going to read 6 to 9. We're going to see who is this man that is saying that I am black, but comely. Black is actually, the rendering is actually black and beautiful. That's what it is renders from, black and beautiful. Psalm 69, we're going to read 6 to 9. It's on you.
Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord, let not them that wait on thee, O Lord God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach. Shame covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children.
So now, this is referring to Jesus. This is referring to Jesus, brothers and sisters. He says, because, verse 7, because for my sake, for thy sake, he's talking to his father. For your sake, Father, I was born reproach. Shame has covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren and an alien unto my mother's children. Brothers and sisters, this is what we just read in the book of Solomon, Songs of Solomon. My mother's children was angry with me. But we're going to go on. He said, I have become a stranger unto my brethren and an alien unto my mother's children. Go ahead, sis.
For the zeal of thy house hath eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me.
So the one them that sin against you, I have to pay the price, brothers and sisters. That's what Jesus is saying. Let us carry on. Let us go to let's go to John chapter 1, and we're going to read 6 to 13. And we're going to go back to verse 1, and then we're going to read 14. John chapter 1. John chapter 1, we're going to read 6 to 13. We're going to read verse 1, and then we're going to read verse 14. It's on you.
There was a man sent from God whose name was John. The same came forward to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe.
So who is the light? Jesus is the light. Jesus is that light. John came to bear witness of Jesus. Jesus is that light. Go ahead.
He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light.
So he's saying John was not that light, but he was sent to bear witness of the light, which is Jesus. Go ahead.
That was the true light, which lighted every man that cometh into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not.
So hold on. So he was in the world. Who was in the world? This is referring to Jesus. This is not referring to the Father. This is referring to Jesus. Jesus was in the world, and the world was made by him. Jesus is the one that created the heavens and the earth. Jesus was the one that made man. He was the one that made the trees, the animals. Jesus was the man that created the angels, brothers and sisters. Jesus is the creator. All right, go ahead.
He came unto his own, and his own received him not.
He was an alien unto his brethren, and a stranger unto his mother's children, brothers and sisters. His mother's children did not receive him. He said he came unto his own, and his own did not receive him. Go ahead.
But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to that believe on his name.
Okay, go to verse 1.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So,
brothers and sisters, Jesus is the Word that was in the beginning with God. And Jesus is also a God, brothers and sisters. Yes, Jesus is also a God. His Father is a God, and he is also a God. Right? Read verse 14.
We never read 13.
We never read 13?
No, we didn't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Read 13. Back up. Reverse.
which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God.
So Jesus
Then
was right. So Jesus was not born of blood or of the flesh. So people saying Mary was not a virgin. Yes, she was a virgin. People, Jesus, please. People come up with all kind of wickedness concerning this Bible, brothers and sisters. That Jesus was which was born was not of blood nor the will of the flesh, because it was not cooked up by him and Mary. Jesus came from his father, brothers and sisters. Mary did not have sex or intercourse in order to get Jesus. All right? He said, which were born not of the flesh, not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. Now we'll go to verse 1.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
So again, Jesus is the Word. He was the Word that was in the beginning with his Father. And Jesus is also a God. Yes, brothers and sisters, he is a God. His Father is a God, and he is a God also. All through the Old Testament, Jesus is saying there's no God beside me. There's no God with me. He is not referring to his Father, brothers and sisters. He's referring to earthly God. He's talking about man God. There's no God with him. He's not referring to his Father, because Jesus in the New Testament said, my Father is greater than I am. So when Jesus is saying there's no God with me, he is talking about earthly God. All through the Old Testament is Jesus. This whole book is about Jesus. It's not about his Father. All right, read verse 14.
And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth.
So Jesus is the only begotten of the who?
Father.
He is the only begotten of the Father. In John 3:16 said, God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son. So is there another one? No, brothers and sisters, there's no third part in this party. It's only two. Jesus is the only begotten. The Father did not get another one. Only Jesus and his Father. There's no third person in the Godhead. There's no triune, there's no trinity. It's only two. Jesus is the only begotten. All right? Let us carry on. Let's go to Romans 15 and continue the same rabbit chase. Romans 15, we're going to read verse 1 to verse 3. Romans 15, 1 to 3. Romans 15, 1 to 3. Romans 15, 1 to 3. This on you, my sis.
It's me now.
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification.
Exactly. Go ahead.
For even Christ pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me.
So, brothers and sisters, we are reading the same thing that we read in Psalm 69, verse 9. The reproaches of them that reproached thee has fallen on me. The people them that sin against you, the world that sin against you, Father, I have to pay the price. Right? And it's still referring to Jesus, the same one that was in Songs of Solomon. All right? Let us continue. Let us go to Isaiah 5. Isaiah chapter 5. We're going to read 1 to 7 and 13 and 14. Isaiah chapter 5, 1 to 7 and 13 and 14. Isaiah chapter 5, 1 to 7, 13 and 14. Brothers and sisters, follow closely. It's on you, my brother.
Now will I Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard.
Uh-huh.
My well-beloved had a vineyard in a very fruitful hill.
So the beloved is Jesus. Jesus is the beloved. This vineyard is Israel, his people. Remember, we went in the book of Songs of Solomon about the vineyard, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
So he made a tower in the midst of it. He put a sanctuary in the midst of Israel, and he gave them laws, brothers and sisters, commandments and laws. All right, go ahead. He looked that it should bring forth grapes, meaning righteousness, and it brought forth wild grape. What is the wild grape? Sinfulness, brothers and sisters, unrighteousness. Right? Go ahead.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard.
Between me, God, Lord, the King, and my vineyard, which is Israel. Go ahead.
What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
When I looked that it should bring forth righteousness, it brought forth death, unrighteousness, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard.
Take
away the hedge thereof.
I will take away the protection. I will take away the protection from them. Go ahead. And it will be eaten up.
And break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down.
So what is this talking about, brothers and sisters? He took himself away. He took away the protection, and it was eaten up because the strangers, the enemies, came in and took us into slavery, brothers and sisters. The people who are calling themselves the Jews, were they taken from the land? Were they taken in slavery? No. Did they come across the transatlantic ocean? No. Did they come across here with dispersed in ships? No, brothers and sisters. Our ancestors were. He said, go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. That's Israel. I will take away the protection thereof, which is the hedges, and it will be eaten up and broken down. That means when they come in there, they trample the land and took the inhabitants, which is the vineyard, into captivity. Right? Go ahead.
And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars, and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
Go ahead.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel.
The vineyard of the Lord of hosts is who?
The house of Israel.
The house of Israel and who?
And the men of Judah is pleasant plant.
So Israel's, the vineyard, brothers and sisters, is Israel and Judah. That is the vineyard of the Lord of hosts. God is their husband, and Israel is his wife. Right? Go ahead.
And he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression. Righteousness, but behold, a cry.
So he looks for righteousness, but what he got? A cry. Death. Unrighteousness, brothers and sisters. Flip down to 13.
Therefore, my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
So now, therefore, when he took away the hedges and it was trampled down, what happened to them? They went into captivity because the honorable men are famished. They have no knowledge. They are dried up with thirst. Go ahead.
Therefore, hell had enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
So all Israel went into captivity, brothers and sisters. And we are into captivity up till this day, because we are in a land that don't belongs to us. We are in another man's land. Our land, brothers and sisters, is Jerusalem. We are the children of Israel, brothers and sisters. The Negroes are the children of Israel. The so-called African American are the children of Israel, the melanated people, brothers and sisters. Let us go back now to Songs of Solomon, and we're going to read it through. Songs of Solomon, verse 4 to verse 6. It's on you, my brother.
Draw me, we will run after thee. The king had brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee.
So the king is Jesus. It's not talking about Solomon. The king is Jesus. Go ahead.
I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
So the person that's saying that he's black is Jesus, brothers and sisters. Jesus is the melanated person here. Go ahead.
Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun had looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards. But mine own vineyard have I not kept.
So my mother's children were angry with me. That's why they put him to death, brothers and sisters. His own people. His own people. They are the one that did not receive him, his own people. So that's why he said, my mother's children were angry with me, and they made me the keepers of other vineyards. So other nations now are into the fold. But my own vineyard, which is Israel, have I not kept. He could not have kept it, because look at us. If he had kept us, we would not have been in the condition and the state that we're in today, brothers and sisters. We would not be in the condition that we're in now. So obviously we were not kept, brothers and sisters. My own vineyard have I not kept. So this, brothers, Songs of Solomon is talking about Jesus and Israel. Jesus is that black man that is in here. Let us continue. Let us go to Romans 11, and we're going to read verse 1. Romans 11, and we're going to read verse 1. Romans 11, we're going to read verse 1. We're going to go to Paul, and we're going to see what color Paul was. Romans 11, verse 1, it's on you.
I say then, had God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
So Paul is a Benjamite, brothers and sisters. I am the seed of Israel. Who? The descendants of Jacob. That's Israel. From the tribe of Benjamin. So we are going to see what color Paul is. Let's go to the book of Acts 21. Acts 21. Acts 21. And we're going to read verse 37 to verse 40. Acts 21, we're going to read 37 to 40. It's on you, Matis.
And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek? Are not thou that...
Listen, so Paul, as he was led away into prison, he asked one of the guards, hey, brother, can I speak to you? So the brother said, can you speak Greek? Listen what the brother said. Go ahead.
Art not thou that Egyptian, which before these days madest an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers?
So listen what this man told Paul. Are you not that Egyptian that caused an uproar in those days, that led his people into the wilderness? The man called Paul an Egyptian. why did he call Paul an Egyptian? Or why did he think Paul was an Egyptian? Because they're the same color people, brothers and sisters. They are melanated people. We know that the Egyptians are black people. They are black people. It's all across the wall in Egypt. It's all across the wall. All in those pyramids. It's on the wall. The writings, the drawings is on the wall. They are melanated black people. So this man to ask Paul, are you not that Egyptian, which in these days made it an uproar and lead us out of the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? Paul is a Benjamite and was mistaken for an Egyptian because we are the same color people, brothers and sisters. We're the same color people. Go ahead, sis.
But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city. And I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people. And when he had given him license, Paul stood on the stairs and beckoned with the hand unto the people. And when there was made a great silence, he spake unto them in the Hebrew tongue, saying.
So Paul spake to them in the Hebrew tongue. Yes, brothers and sisters, because he was from the seed of Jacob, Israel, brothers and sisters. So we see that Paul here, just like Moses, was mistaken for Egyptian. Right? Let us carry on. Let us go to the book of Acts 13, and we're going to read from the screen here. Acts 13. Acts chapter 13, and we're going to see what color Simeon was. Acts chapter 13, and we're going to read verse 1, right? Go ahead, my sister.
Among the prophets and teachers of the church at Antioch of Syria were Barnabas, Simeon, called the black man,
called
Lucius
who?
from Cyrene, the black man.
Called the black man. So these people, Simeon was referred to as black men. These are the apostles that went out to preach the gospel. And we're going to see also, keep reading, read that, verse 1, finish it.
Simeon called the black man Lucius from Cyrene, Manaen, the childhood companion of King Herod Antipas, and Saul.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the Blue Letter Bible, right? So the word in the King James Version, it says Niger, right? It says Niger. Let's see here. Simeon called the black man Niger in the King James Version. But it's not Niger, it's nigger. Listen it, but listen it.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
Strong's G 3526.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
So, brothers and sisters, you think it's ironic that these people call us niggers? It's not far-fetched that these people are calling us niggers. And we cannot say that this is the Niger River or what? Because when this word came up, the Niger River was not in existence. So this have nothing to do with the Niger River, brothers and sisters, because the Niger River was not in existence when this word came up. So it's nigger means black, right? Nigger means black. Let's go on this screen. As a matter of fact, let us do from here first. Strong's G. So nigger, what it says?
Of Latin origin, black.
Okay. So a Latin origin, it means black, brothers and sisters. So when somebody said nigger, they're just calling you black. But why is these non-melanated people is calling us niggers? This is not something that just came in. This been there for decades, brothers and sisters. Hold on. This is the Holman Illustrated Bible Dictionary. Listen to what it says for nigger. Go ahead.
Latin name meaning black, surname of Simeon.
The phone break.
The prophet of the early church.
Again.
Yeah.
Hold on, you think breaking up again.
Latin nickname meaning black, surname of Simeon, one of the teacher prophets of the early church at Antioch.
Mm-hmm.
Blacks were on sight among the populations of Egypt and North Africa in the Hellenistic period. Simeon's Latin nickname suggests that he originated from the Roman province of Africa to the west of Cyrenaica.
Mm-hmm.
His inclusion in Acts 13:1 demonstrates the multiracial and multinational leadership of the church at Antioch.
But it wasn't multinational and multi-leadership, nothing. They were Israelites. They were Israelites. He was an Israelite, right? Go ahead.
Their concern for missions was likely rooted in their own ethnic diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Some have considered that Simeon nigger was identical to Simon of Cyrene.
Mm-hmm.
Mark 15:21. Acts 13:1, however, only designates Lucius as a resident of Cyrene.
So it was there were not non-Jews that was following this movement. All of the disciples, the apostles, were Israelites, brothers and sisters. Okay? They were Israelites. Look at this. This man, Peter Mark Rajet, he wrote a book, and we're going to see what he wrote in his book. See over here? It says Negro, right? Negro. And it's a colored person, 17.7. So we go over here in the book and we look for 17.7. So we write here, which is Negro, 17.7 right here. There's 417.7. So read the for Negro.
Negro, colored person, black. I can't see that word in there.
Amor.
Jim Crow. Dark, ebony. The image of God.
The image of who?
God.
The image of God, the image of Jesus. He is a Negro, brothers and sisters. Remember, we didn't write this. These people know what's going on. We are the only one in the darkness, brothers and sisters. We, the real Negroes, are the only one in darkness. They know what's going on. Right? So the image of God as a Negro. Go ahead.
African, Ethiopian.
You're breaking up again.
Ethiopian.
I don't know if you're too close to the
It says, what in ebony, African, Ethiopian.
Mm-hmm.
Says colored man, man of color, buck Negro.
Mm-hmm. So
negress
colored,
is colored woman, mommy,
mm-hmm.
and well, you pick a name, you see
that? Pick a name, you see that?
Pick a name, Negroid, mulatto, Afro-American, Afro-European, Afro-Asiatic.
So we are the Asiatic people. Afro-Asiatic, they are not Afro-Asiatic. We are the Asiatic people. We are the Semitic people. Right? And you see the picking in there? but they say Pickaninny, but it's Pickney. Because when you in Antigua, we say Pickney, right? The same thing. Mommy, mommy, auntie. You see? These are in this man's book. And these are the words that we use growing up in the islands. Pickanega, Pickney. The same Negroid people. And he said the color, the image of God. So we know, they know, brothers and sisters, that Jesus is a melanated man. And if Jesus is a melanated man, his father is a melanated man. His father is also a melanated person. Let's carry on. Let's go to Matthew 2. Matthew chapter 2, we're going to read 13 to 16. Matthew chapter 2, 13 to 16. Matthew chapter 2, 13 to 16. When you read it, you can go ahead.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt.
So, brothers and sisters, this is the angel coming to Joseph and telling Joseph to take Jesus down into Egypt. Brothers and sisters, let's not play games. We know that the Egyptians were melanated black people. We know that. It's undisputed. We cannot go against it. We know that they're black people. Why did the angel tell Joseph to carry Jesus down into Egypt to hide from Herod? Because Herod seeks the child life. It's because, brothers and sisters, it will be just another black family in Egypt. He can blend in among the people. If Jesus and Joseph and Mary were white people, it's impossible for them to go down there to hide. Come on. They will not be able to go down into Egypt and hide, brothers and sisters. They will stick out like sore thumbs. The reason why he told him to, because we have a close relationship with Egypt. We are always in Egypt. We was there for 400 years in captivity. We're always going there. So that's why the angel told Joseph, carry the child down in Egypt and hide there, be there until we send you word again. So now they just blend in with the people that is there. That's why Joseph's brother did not recognize Joseph, because he blended in with the Egyptians. He looked like them. Right? Go ahead, Amdi.
When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. And he was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son.
Out of Egypt have I called my son, which is who? Jesus. Go ahead.
Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently acquired of the wise men.
So we see that Jesus, brothers and sisters, went to hide in Egypt. Joseph took his family and went down into Egypt to be there because of the decree that Herod sent out to kill all the children. So what Herod did, he sent a decree to get Jesus. So eventually when he did not get Jesus, he sent them men to kill all the children that was 2 years and under. Why 2 years and under? Because he know Jesus, from the time that he got word of Jesus' birth to the time that he sent out that decree, he know that Jesus had to be around 2 years old. So he tell them to kill all the kids them 2 years and below, right? And Jesus escaped because of the angel. He went into Egypt to blend in with the natives there, with the people, because they were the same color people, right? So now on the screen, picture if Jesus was this color, brothers and sisters. Would Jesus been able to hide amongst these people? If Jesus was that color, would Jesus been able to hide among these Egyptians or Africans? Because the Egyptians them is African, they came from Ham. No, brothers and sisters. It would be impossible. He would have stuck out like a sore thumb. Everybody would say, oh yeah, they're down in Egypt hiding. And then Herod now with the soldiers would have went down there and got him. But why didn't that happen? Because they blended in with them. They look like the same people. Jesus was a melanated man. Joseph was a melanated man. Mary was a melanated woman. They were black people, brothers and sisters.
Exactly how they're looking at him in that picture. That's how they would have been looking at Jesus.
That's how it would have been back in them days. Like, who is you and where you come from? Look at all of them looking at him. Like, who this guy is? And we know this is not the color of Jesus, brothers and sisters. It's impossible.
Mm.
Hebrews chapter 1, and we're going to read verse 1 to verse 3. Hebrews chapter 1, we're going to read verse 1 to verse 3. Hebrews chapter 1, we're going to read verse 1 to verse 3. Go ahead.
God, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he had appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds, who, being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all.
So Jesus is the express image of who?
His Father.
Of his Father. The express image of the Father. He's the spitting image of the Father. So if Jesus is a melanated person, what color is the Father? The Father is also a melanated man. He's not invisible, brothers and sisters, as some people think, or how some people, pastors, will teach. No, and say that he's spirit. The reason why the book refers to the Father as spirit is because we never saw him. So he is spirit to us, brothers and sisters. Just like Jesus. Jesus is spirit to us in these days because we in this time never saw him. So the Father is referred to as spirit because we never saw him. But is he spirit? Isn't he sitting on a throne? Brothers and sisters, so that means he have a rumpus. So Jesus is the spitting image of his Father, right? Jesus is a melanated man. His Father is also a melanated being. Simple as that. Just like the angels are melanated. Simple as that, brothers and sisters. Let's go to Colossians chapter 1. Colossians chapter 1. Are we going to read verse?
To finish.
I'm sorry.
All right. Start off on 3. Who, being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the Majesty on high.
He sat down. So if Jesus is a spirit, what are you doing sitting down? He got a rumpus up there? Yes, he does. Because he is not no spirit as people will think, brothers and sisters. All right? It's just a metaphor that is used. Spirit. We don't see them. When Jesus come back in the 1,000-year millennium, aren't we going to see him? Yes, we are going to see him. Didn't he say, all eyes will see me? So if he's spirit, how are you seeing him? How will you see him? It's just a metaphor, brothers and sisters. All right? Let's go to Colossians chapter 1 and we're going to read 1 to 15. Colossians chapter 1, 1 to 15.
1 to 15?
What it is? 15. Colossians
15,
chapter 1, 15. Yeah. Colossians chapter 1, verse 15.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's cool. All right. Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature?
So now, who is the image of the invisible God? Jesus. Who is the invisible God? His Father. Why is he invisible? Because we never saw him. It's just as simple as that, brothers and sisters. It's not rocket science. He is referred to as spirit He's referred to as invisible because we never saw him. We only dealt with his son, Jesus Christ. The only son. They don't have a third one. The only son. Jesus is a melanated man. His father is a melanated man. Israel are melanated people, brothers and sisters. They are not white. They are not European descent. They are melanated people. Let's go to the last scriptures, the book of Amos. We're going to tell you the reason why we went here to the book of Amos. Because God is smarter than us. He is really, really smarter than us. So, in the book of Amos, chapter 9, we're going to read verse 6 and verse 7, and I'm going to explain to you this reason. 6, Amos chapter 9, 6 and 7. Amos 9, 6 and 7. Anyway, get it, my brother? Go ahead.
They're coming. Okay. It is he that builded his stories in the heaven, and hath founded his truth in the earth. He that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poured them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me?
So listen what
children of Israel.
So listen what Jesus said. Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O you children of Israel? Finish reading it, and then I'm going to explain.
Saith the Lord. Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Captor, and the Syrians from Ker?
So brothers and sisters, on the screen here, this is just a joke. Got you. Ethiopians. Why did the book of Amos state this? Are you not as the children of Ethiopian unto me? It's because God knew that he was going to turn over Egypt unto other nations. So the people who are living in Egypt today, they are not the indigenous people of the land. These people now are like white people, European people, right? So he cannot refer us now to the people of Egypt, because the people of Egypt is white. No. But the indigenous people were melanated people. That's why the prophets them were always referred to as the Egyptian, the same people, color. So now, God knows that the Ethiopian cannot change his spot. So these people here on the screen, they are the Ethiopian people. So God is saying, are we not like the Ethiopians unto me? Are you not like the Ethiopians unto me? What color is the Ethiopian people? They are melanated black people. So now Amos is referring us to the Ethiopians because he cannot refer us to the Egyptians today, because the Egyptians today people are not the indigenous people of the land. They are not the indigenous people of the land. So now what God does, he refers us to the Ethiopians because they also are black people. So we see, brothers and sisters, unrefutedly, that they can't refute this, that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were melanated people. They were black people. They are not white or European or mulatto people. They are black people. Brothers and sisters, we hope that you were edified by this short lesson. We have so much more scriptures that we could have brought, but for time's sake, we probably don't went over our time. We brought these that we got. These are very edifying, and I hope that you got some understanding. Brothers and sisters, again, the 12 tribes of Israel, they are black people. They are not white people. Again, we are from Israel, the Lord's Vineyard. My name is Brother Moses. We have Sister Shanique and Brother Damani that is reading for us today. And brothers and sisters, we thank you for your time. Damani, you want to close with a prayer?
Yeah, we got Psalm 121.
All right.
All right.
Go ahead.
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hill.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth.
My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night.
The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth.
And even forevermore.
And even forevermore. In Jesus' name we pray.
Name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So brothers and sisters, again, we thank you for joining us. And next week, we're going to give you the curse, part 3. And this is the Black history according to the Bible. And we see undeniably that the people of the book, the Jews, the real Jews, or the Israelites, they are melanated people. These people that we call African American, excuse me, the Caribbean people, the people from that we have in West Africa, in the Congo, we still have a lot of people over there, brothers and sisters. They are melanated people. They are the true Israelites, the true people or children of God. So again, we thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your Sabbath.
So when we say in that verse, we suppose